Hello, welcome to Where's Wilmington? I'm Lisa Capalla, your host of WCTV's new program, where we're going to be learning about what's going on in the town of Wilmington, the faces, places, people that you're going to meet. You know, if you've ever had a question about what's going on in Wilmington, who do you talk to? Who do you talk to about snow removal? Who's going to be elected? What's going on in your town? The first person you may want to contact is our guest today, and that's Kay Scanlon. She is the town clerk. Welcome, Kay. I just want to know, first of all, what does the town clerk do?
Well, the town clerk's duties and obligations are varied. I guess the very first thing and most important thing that I do is I record records. And Wilmington has a wonderful, wonderful source of records. Our records, births, deaths, and marriages begin back in the 1600s and come forward.
Why is that so important?
History is very important. And people today are looking more and more into the history of things. And we have constant traffic in and out of our office of people researching their relatives and all sorts of records and things that have happened in the town. And we virtually have just about everything. Or we can tell you where to go to find it.
How did you become the town clerk? And
well,
what's that all about?
I've been very lucky in my career. I came back to work to put my children through college part-time.
Okay.
I began with the Board of Appeals, went on to the assessor's office, became assistant town clerk, and now I have been town clerk. I'm starting my 13th year.
Wow.
So I have over 30 years with the town of Wilmington, which is a great asset in my office.
Right, I was going to say, obviously, having all that background in the different venues, if you will, about the town must have helped you to give the information to folks.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've been lucky. I have worked under and been taught by wonderful people. And particularly, I'd like to mention Priscilla Ward, who was the town clerk when I became assistant, and she and I both sort of learned our jobs together, and can't say enough of how much she has helped me.
And it's always great to have excellent support when you're climbing through the ranks. Tell me a little bit about what an average day is like for you as the town clerk. You're down on Glen Road,
Yes,
right?
we are. Yeah, our office hours are 8:30 to 4:30. Okay. Very seldom leave my office at 4:30. Oftentimes work late, and we try to accommodate people if they have difficulty coming in during the day. One of the fun things we do is marriage license.
Okay.
And I'm a justice of the peace, and that is another fun part of my job. It goes with town clerk, and I've enjoyed that over the years. I've married a lot of couples, and as far as I know, most of them are all still together, and I consider that to be great.
Now, I didn't know that the town clerk performs that service.
Yes.
What other little behind-the-scenes information can you give our viewers today like that? You perform marriages. What else does the town clerk do?
We are all notaries in my office also, so if you have a paper that needs to be certified and notified, we do that also.
Okay.
Actually, our office is sometimes the very first one that people call or come to find out what to do.
Right.
And I have an excellent staff, and we really try to be citizen-friendly. And I think we have accomplished that over the years. I oftentimes receive compliments that people do feel very comfortable coming into our office.
Approachability is key.
Yes, yes. Another part of my job, which is very important, is the running of elections. Okay. Elections take up, some years we have 4 elections, some years we only have a few. And that is a big part of my job. And it has to be correct. So we have to work hard on that. Wilmington has just gone from years with what we call the AVM voting machines to new AccuVote, where we actually mark a ballot and put it ourselves into a voter box. And that has been a big change for us. And yet we had our presidential election, and all went very well.
Have people been receptive to these changes? You know, folks sometimes don't like
Sometimes
new things.
they,
How did it go?
Really, people I think were very leery about it, but overall they accepted it very well. And I find with the presidential election, despite the turnout, we had a 75% turnout.
That's pretty good.
Very good, very excellent. People want to vote for the president. They want to participate in that election. It's not so in our local elections.
And why do you think that is?
I think that people sometimes don't realize that at the local level, what you do affects everything. It affects what goes on in your town, and then that goes on to state and on to federal.
Right.
And sometimes people think it's inconvenient to come out to vote, or they just don't think they have the time to do it.
Right.
But now I don't accept that as an excuse.
Okay.
Because we provide the ability for absentee ballots. Okay. So there really is no excuse for anyone not to vote in an election, because they can vote absentee. It just requires something in writing from them, and we can do it. They can do it all by mail. So that's something that I would.
Do you know what portion of Wilmington's population is not turning out for the vote? Do you have anything that says your seniors are coming out and the youth, but not? Do you know who's not getting out there to make up your other 25%?
In our local elections, only about 25% of the voters vote.
Okay.
I would say, again, it's the issue. I would say that our seniors pretty much do vote constantly. Okay. The rest of the population, I think it depends on the issue.
Really?
Yes, yes, I do.
Do you find that if it's a heated issue, you get a better turnout, and if it's a quiet year, you get less?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Would that stand true for the library, which we're looking at making some changes coming up
yes,
there?
I would think that the library, the plans are now that we will be having a special election for the library, and I would say that that would generate a larger than normal vote. And we would certainly hope so.
Right.
Because the library is such an important issue. Whether you support it or you don't, your voice needs to be heard.
How does someone register to vote if they haven't already? How do they do that?
Voter registration these days is very easy. You either come into our office, or we have what is called mail-in voter registration, where you can call us and we can send you the form, and then you can return it by mail also. So again, a very easy thing to do, and maybe people don't realize that it is that simple.
Right.
But again, call the town clerk's office and
What's
we
your
will.
phone number over there?
The phone number is 978-658-2030.
And that's where you can get information about voting. What else? What other kinds of information can we get?
We would have, as the town meeting is coming up, we will have the warrant when it is available. We have the answers, I think, to most questions that people would be asking us, or we can certainly tell you which room in the town hall to go to.
Okay. What kind of questions do you get on a regular basis, or are there misconceptions about what your office handles? Do you get a lot of calls and you wonder, why are they contacting us for that? What kinds of things?
You know, we don't really kind of feel that way, because some people, you know, the town clerk comes to mind at first.
Right.
I think the fact that we record births, deaths, and marriages somehow makes the office have a comfortable feeling for people. Naturally, you celebrate the birth of a baby, you celebrate a marriage, and then of course a death in the family is very significant for people, and they know to come to our office, and so I think it generates an easy feeling in our office.
Which is good, because you want to be utilized and you want to be user-friendly.
We certainly do.
So that brings me to asking you, you must be quite the diplomat in your work. You must have to handle a lot of pressure in a lot of different situations. Can you give us some tips for keeping calm under stress? Because I'm sure you're under a lot of pressure with what you do.
I think that the most important thing is to listen to what the person has to say. You're right. sometimes we do have people who come in and they're very upset about an issue that has happened to them.
Right.
But if you quietly ask, well, tell me what happened, tell me, and we'll try to help. And usually that works out.
Because don't you think most people just want to feel like they're being heard?
Exactly.
And that's why they
exactly.
come and see you.
Yes.
And is it okay if people come directly to your office, or would you prefer they make the phone calls first?
Either one is fine with me. People come in and just come in to see if I'm there, and I welcome people to my office. If they want to call ahead, that's fine too. But we are a very, very citizen-friendly office.
Excellent.
I know in some town clerks' offices where they're so burdened and they don't have help, they have to close down to the public and everything.
Right.
We have not had to do that. Our town manager has always seen that we are budgeted so that we can serve the public.
And that's excellent that the view is that you want to be open towards the public. Obviously, if you were trained that way, that's going to hopefully continue for the next 13 or 25
Absolutely,
years. You must have
absolutely.
learned that from Priscilla, who you
Yes,
mentioned earlier.
yes, I did.
I think
Yes,
that's
I did.
important for staff. If something is taught, you try to continue that as you go along. I think that's
Absolutely,
important.
yep.
What about if someone viewing the program today were interested in doing what you do? How did they start? I guess you probably just kind of fell into the position, kind of climbed
absolutely
up, and
I
this is where
did.
you ended.
Yes, I always say I came up through the ranks, and that's why I feel as though I am a very valued employee, and have always felt that way, have been always treated that way. And it's because I have learned so much coming up through the ranks.
So you recommend someone start small?
If they
do some
wanted to try to
volunteering?
get a job with the town and see what happens from there.
Excellent. Now, is your
Yes.
position an elected position, an appointed
No,
position?
I am appointed by the town manager.
Excellent.
Yes.
So if folks want to know what are available for positions, how would they do that?
Whenever a position is available in the town, usually they at first try to fill it within the town hall personnel, because of course we have
Right.
unions and that type
Right.
of thing. Then they're always advertised in the paper.
Excellent. So you
Yes.
can really start at the ground level and work your way
You
right
certainly
up.
could.
That's
You
excellent.
would be lucky if you were able to do what I have been able to do.
That's
because
so good
it's-
that you feel so
Yes,
fortunate, that you're so grateful for what you have. That's
I am.
really a nice thing.
I never expected to ever be the town clerk.
Well,
But
I'm sure glad that you are. Anything final you'd like to add this morning, Kay, before we close?
I'd like to thank you for
my
having me here, and I would like to encourage people to participate in town government. And if there is a question you have or you see something you don't like, by all means, call us and we will try to see that your questions are answered, and that in a professional way, and we will really try to help out our citizens. And of course, I want everyone to vote.
Right.
Participate in the voting. That's the biggest thing I'd like to
That will give
encourage.
you a little more job security.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
And
indeed.
let's give your address and phone number so folks can come
Okay,
visit
so
you.
we are in room 12 at the town hall.
Okay.
And the town hall is at 121 Glen Road.
Excellent.
And we're all in a circular building, so it's very easy to go from room to room. And the phone number again is the 978-658-2030.
Excellent. Well, I hope folks come down and visit Kay and find out what they can find out about our town. Get involved, get active. That's important for everybody. Stay tuned for our next segment here on Where's Wilmington. We're going to be talking with Chris Cassidy about running the marathon. Can you imagine? So stay with us. Thanks for watching Where's Wilmington. I'm Lisa Capalla.
Do you want to keep up on the latest events for the Boston Red Sox?
There's so many important things up in outer space. Do you want to know about them?
This being Wilmington's 275th birthday, there are a lot of events going on around Wilmington. Don't you want to know more about your own hometown?
Watch it!
Watch it.
Watch it.
Yay!
I'm Lisa Capalla, and as promised in our second segment today, we're going to be talking with Chris Cassidy, who's going to be running the marathon. So welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me, most of us say, this is the year I'm going to get involved, make a difference, do something. Why the marathon?
I never ran competitively in high school, never ran cross country, never ran competitively in college. I just like running for fun, for recreation. And I came back from a run in October. It was only about 3 miles, and I thought it would be kind of a challenge to just try a marathon, see how it would go.
Yeah,
I've
I would
never
say.
done anything like it before, so it was just I thought a good chance to just kind of challenge myself, and it's something that something that a lot of people really want to do, and it was something I had always wanted to do. Being having gone to school in Boston, you see the marathon go down your campus all the time.
Right.
So watching from the sidelines, I really wanted to get involved.
But 26 miles?
I know.
How do you train for something like that?
Well, I'm involved with Team in Training, which is an organization which is run by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Okay.
And so we have a coach who is great, and what he does, there's about 150 of us.
Wow.
And so what he does is he gives us a schedule starting in October and November, and each day he tells you how many miles you should be running, whether you should be doing cross training or whatever it might be. And you go from, in October and November, when you don't think you can run 10 miles, the calendar is such that you build up confidence as you're building up your mileage. And right now, as it's getting closer, you're beginning to feel a lot more like you can actually run a marathon.
When you run, we hear about the runners getting in the zone. Have you found, you've been training for a while, have you found that you actually have a different mindset now than you did when you first started running, or what's happening to your psyche?
Yeah, a little bit. They say now, we're up to the 14, 15 mile runs, and they say, well, now just do a short run of 5 miles. And prior to this, I probably would never think of 5 miles as being a short run. So. But yeah, you do get into a little bit of a psychological, you just enjoy being out there, and it's kind of like when some people go golfing, that's like their relaxation. This is that for me, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. And the thing with the Boston Marathon is that there's only 2 ways to qualify. You can run a previous marathon in like a time of 3 hours and 10 minutes, which is incredibly fast, and most people can't run that, and I certainly couldn't run that.
Right.
The other way is through the charity program, and that's what I wanted to do. And then the Boston Athletic Association, which runs the marathon, sponsors about 12 different charities, and each one of those charities get about 150 numbers. And in return, you get a number as a runner. You get a number, and in return, you're asked to raise $2,500 for whichever charity you run for.
And your charity that you're running for is?
Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And why that particular charity? That means something to you personally?
It does. I had a classmate and a friend of mine that I went to high school with in 1999, Cara Irving, who passed away from leukemia a couple years ago. And she was somebody that if you ever met her, you immediately were touched by her, you remembered her. She was somebody that went through her disease really publicly and tried to get people, tried to raise awareness as much as possible for leukemia, and to try to get people to help others that were in her similar situation. And she unfortunately passed away. I guess for me, I just wanted some way to continue what she had done, because I thought she really was very heroic and very courageous in what she went through. And we're only individuals, but I think as a team, we try to do what we can to make as much of an impact as possible. The researchers and the doctors are the ones that really are on the front lines of this. And I guess as marathoners, we just try to do our little part to contribute whatever we can.
When you're running, are you thinking about her? Thinking about, do you get emotional about it? I mean, it's a pretty powerful thing that you're doing.
Yeah, you definitely, I think her and other people that are in her that have leukemia and have had the disease, and maybe some of them beat it, but they're the motivation. I mean, if I were just doing this for myself, I probably wouldn't get out of bed half the time to do it. But when other people, when you hear these stories of people, that's what kind of motivates you to go out there and do it. And now that people are starting to give money, and so far I've raised about $3,500, which is over the limit, which is great, and that's more than the minimum. But when people start to give you money, now you start feeling like you don't want to let them down.
Right,
you want
responsibility.
To go out there. They're sort of investors in your run in a way. So you don't want to let them down, and that's why you're out there, and that's why you run.
Okay. So. What do you need from the community? Obviously, you would like some donations, but is there anything else you need, support or other people to join your team?
I think right now donations is really the big part of it.
Okay.
And I had to raise $2,500, so I'm past the minimum right now, but every dollar counts, and every dollar is taking a giant step toward coming up with some type of a cure for for leukemia.
Or
and
helping
lymphoma.
folks that have it manage the disease too. That's
Exactly.
a big part of it. How do we get in touch with you if we want to do that?
Best way is you can go online. There's a website which you can donate directly to my run. It's chriscassidy.hopto.org. You can also call me. I'll give out my cell phone number. That's how strongly I feel about this. 978-985-4587. If you want to give me a call, I can give you some more information on how to donate.
And we'll make sure we put that up on the screen as well. What are you going to wear that day for the run on the lighter side?
I think they give us uniforms, so I'll
And
probably,
you're going to have a special tag
it's
number
like
too.
bright purple too. So I'm sure people that I don't know if they do that so that we can be spotted from far away.
Do you know what number you're going to be? Do you get to choose your number? Or?
No, we'll find out probably a couple weeks before the marathon what
Okay.
our numbers
Now, are you going to do all that carb loading the night before, or
Yeah.
is all that a myth?
I've
How's that
been
work?
eating nothing but pasta the last couple. And part of that is just laziness on my part, but yeah, we'll be. There's that pasta party, I think, a night or 2 nights before the marathon, so we'll be loading up on that. I don't want to have too much of it, but yeah, we'll be probably doing that.
Have you watched any runners, or do you admire anybody that you want to run like they run, or are you just trying to get through it?
Not so much runners. I think everybody, especially in the past couple of years, has been really impressed with Lance Armstrong, the cyclist, and just, I mean, what he's done is obviously
You're wearing his bracelet there,
Yeah,
I see.
exactly. 100 times more daunting than running a marathon. He's incredible. But I think just the fact that he always wins his races in the hills and the mountains, and it's all about having such a high threshold for pain. And when you're going up Heartbreak Hill, and I've done it a couple of times, it's like, you know you can get through it, you just have to endure a certain amount of
Is it
pain.
really heartbreaking? I mean, is it really that bad? I've never even walked it, so.
The thing is that Heartbreak Hill is, by itself, not that bad, but when it's at about the 22, 23 mile marker, so when you've already gotten like 21 miles in the bank, and now you're going up this, what appears to be a mountain, or like it's like running up the down escalator at the mall, so at that point, it's like that's the last thing you want to do.
And the sense of accomplishment you must have had the first time you actually made it over that hill.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you actually did that?
It was great, and because everybody had always talked about that being the most challenging part of the course, so to finish that, I mean, it's a big, you need those kind of boosts along the way to just keep you motivated and keep you going,
Right. Now, how many folks are going to be running with you on your team?
On the team, it's 150 people, and all, for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and all run by this coach, Rick, who's a great guy, and he's actually very, very inspirational himself in what he's done.
Now, if folks want to get involved with the charity end also, they're able to do that through the website information that you gave?
Yeah,
or?
that link takes you right to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society website, and from there you can go to some of the links. And that's the other thing about team and training. It's not just the Boston Marathon, but you can do, if you want to do another marathon somewhere, the San Diego Marathon or the Dublin Marathon, or you want to do a triathlon, or just a half marathon, or whatever you want to do.
There's lots of ways to get involved, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
If you can't run, you can't walk, you can still volunteer, you can donate. So we're going to put the graphic up during the show so that folks can get in touch with you and help your cause. Anything else you want us to know this morning?
No, that's it. Just I appreciate everybody's help, and it's going to be a fun day on the 18th.
Well, thank you for coming. I know you're going to do great, and it's good to see you out there doing something that you believe in. We all appreciate that. It's a good example for the community. I want to thank you for viewing the program with us today, and just letting you know that if you want to be a guest on the show, or you have a show idea, you can reach us here at wctv.org, or you can contact us by telephone at 978-657-4066. I'm Lisa Capalla, and we thank you for joining us, and have a great day.